My name is Allison Metz, and I teach 8th grade English here at KSA. So the lesson that you're going to see me teach is on the standard 8.6, which is on point of view and analyzing the differences in them in a text. And the objective that we're going to work on today is using evidence to identifying the varying viewpoints of jurors in 12 Angry Men. So there are really two questions that I consider when I plan a lesson. The first one is, what skills do we need to spiral that we're still struggling with? And I use the do now to fix any of those errors. So for example, in today's lesson, you'll see me do a really short poem and just review one or two of the questions so that I can get a quick hit on anything old that the students are still struggling with. And then when I look at the main lesson, I think about what new standards do I need to teach, and if it's an old standard as well, why are we still struggling with it? So when I look at the trajectory of a week, I usually focus on 1 to 2 standards at most. One of them is a standard we're still struggling with, and the other one is a newer one. So in this lesson, you're going to see me teach a newer standard, and because I'm focusing on it throughout the entire week, it means each day I can get more and more rigorous with it. So for example, today you're going to see me not only hit the reading standard, but I'm also going to incorporate writing into it and how we can use diction embedded in our writing. And so by focusing just on 1 or 2 skills throughout the week, I can increase the complexity as the trajectory of the week goes on. So one of the things that we are prioritizing here at KSA is using small group instruction to really push a small group of children in each class to push their scores to be higher, and also just to push their basic comprehension to increase over the course of the year. So when I look at who's going to be in my small group each week, I look at 2 pieces of data. The first one is, how are they doing on skills and common assessments? And the second one is, how did they do on their exit slip the previous week? I usually have in the group students who are struggling on the common assessment. They might be in like the 50s to 60s, and I'd like to see them get up to the higher 60s or 70s. And then I also have students who are struggling on the exit slip data and not making movement. I keep the same groups, the same children in a small group throughout the entire week so that they have an entire week to show movement on their exit slips. And so when I'm looking at exit slips, and you're going to see that in this lesson, KSA right now is prioritizing improving constructed responses because they're such a large part of SBAC. And so lately my exit slips have focused on how can I make our writing and constructed responses stronger. So when I write an exit slip, what I'm looking for is, what is KSA telling me to do in terms of what a good constructor response would look like on SBAC, and then what are we doing really, really well with? So for example, we're doing a really good job using evidence in our constructor responses. So I can increase the rigor with my students, and now we're focusing on just embedding diction into writing rather than writing an entire quote. And then in terms of how this works in the lesson cycle, what I do is I start with a small model. So today our objective is on identifying the varying viewpoints in the jurors and then writing a constructive response about it. So we're going to start by just looking at diction that helps us to identify the point of view in a model. Then we'll move to trying one together. Then they'll move on to trying one in pairs and independently. And then finally, we can really up the rigor in the end because they'll write an entire constructor response in which they try that entirely on their own. And they focus, again, not only on understanding the text, but also showing that in writing with a constructor response. SBAC is the California state test that our students will take in the spring. And each common assessment and skills assessment that KIPP-LA gives is a measure of how well our students are going to do on SBAC. The other thing that I spoke about were exit tickets. And exit tickets are either multiple choice or writing assessment that are usually 1 to 3 questions that students take at the end of the class. And it shows us whether or not they mastered the objective we taught that day. So I identify the scholars who need to be pulled into small groups by using their scores on the common assessments and the skills assessments. And the second way I do that is by looking at how they're doing on their exit slips. So at KSA, we give a minimum of 3 exit slips per week. If students are falling below a C in that range, then that means that they need the standard taught to them in a smaller scale. So what I do is I take the students to a different area of the classroom while everyone else is working either independently or in pairs. And I use a set of scaffolded questions and model to help the students understand the objective. And it gives them also more hits with questions so that they have multiple times to try it. So for example, today in my lesson, students are gonna have to write a constructor response on the varying viewpoints of jurors. So what I do is I just create, on the student handout, a set of break it down questions that I'm gonna give to them. And then I also put on here a sentence starter that I want students to use while they're working with me in small groups. It makes it easier for me to manage it as a teacher because you're managing a small group and then you're also managing a larger classroom. So the more I plan it out, the easier it is for me to scaffold it for students. The standard that we're focusing on is 8.6, which is how to identify the different viewpoints in a text. And the objective is students will be able to use evidence to determine the varying viewpoints of jurors. And we're reading the play 12 Angry Men by Reginald Rose. So basically what I need to be able to see is by the end of class, students will be able to tell me what are the different viewpoints of the jurors we read in today's pages, how are they different, and they'll need to express this in a constructed response format, meaning they'll need to write a paragraph that uses a minimum of 2 pieces of evidence to explain this objective. I think what makes this lesson different from other lessons is that because we're reading a play and everyone has a different role in the play, you'll find that we might read together longer as a group, only because it's very hard to read a play on your own and read all the roles to yourself. So normally when we're reading a novel in class, we read out loud together for 5 to 6 minutes and then they'll move on their own. But because this is a play and each child has a different role when reading out loud, you will find that we read longer together as a class. Try it anyone. I shouldn't hear your voice. What's up? Yes, the class. Mm-hmm. Do you guys need one? Do this. Put this away and do that.
Is that another word for remember?
Mm-hmm. Nice job. On the back of the chair so I can walk through. Can you take your backpack off, please? Thank you. I'll be right there. To reminisce about something is to think about something in the past in a positive way. Nope, but I'll let you know. I like that you're taking out a book. Thank you. Do you have a book? For question number 1, in order to get it right, you need to circle 2 lines in the poem. I need to see a circle somewhere in the poem. Also, when I look at Vivian's paper, I like that I see a minimum of 2 annotations on it. Same thing when I'm looking at Romel's paper. So you only need, you need annotations. That's missing. Keep your turn so I can walk through, please. Thanks. You were right the first time. So do you want to fix this one based on that? Yep, you're right. This one is right, this one's wrong. What do you have as your answer choices? Did you circle yet or no?
I did.
You did? Let me see. Okay. These are both wrong. Can you take a look at these? What word is repeated in the poem over and over again? Is it right there? What word is repeated over and over again in the poem?
I want to see the words that are repeated.
This one is. It's repeated 3 times. So your answer choice is talking about forgetting, but you wanted to talk about what word instead? Huh? What's the opposite of forgetting something? What's the opposite of forgetting something? Yep. Both of those are right, Ashanti. Yeah, nice job. So you, Ashanti, and AZ have 100% so far. Let's see. Okay. I'll give you 2 minutes to finish. So far, the best multiple choice that I've seen is Ashanti, AZ, and Dorian. And it looks like yours is getting right. I haven't looked, I'm sorry. Yep, nice job. So the poem is about what word?
Remember.
Yeah, so would you want to choose that one? Okay, so this says forget. What is the poem primarily about? What word?
Remember?
Yeah, so you don't want to choose an answer choice that has that then. If you're done, you should have a book out and be reading, just like I see Dorian doing. Oh. Darren is doing that as well. Yeah, you're the only one who did this one right. Yep, good to go. Oops. Good to go. The only thing is, to earn full credit, you need annotations. Okay. You good? Can I clean up your desk a little, just because it stresses me out? Okay. This one's still wrong, though. You have 30 seconds? Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. Very nice. Yep, that's 100%. Very nice. Do you have a book?
You have to circle two live.
Yes, that's the multiple choice, though, is 100%. Mm-hmm.
Which one has more lines?
The fourth. I have to raise hands. That's the only fair way to do it. But you can have one of the larger speaking roles if you want it. Okay, please keep your own poem in front of you today. Do not trade with the person next to you. And then please place your eyes up here, just like I see Jeremiah doing. Yes, you have 100% now. Just like you see Jeremiah doing without me having to ask. So my first question for you is, what word is repeated throughout the poem? Track Wendy at the back of the room, please. Loud, you're right. Great, and so why does the author repeat the word remember? The author's last name is Rossetti, so you can use that when referring to her. Track Rommel, please.
She's using the word remember because she wants him to remember her.
Who does she want to remember her? Thank you. Track Rayana, please.
She wants her lover to remember her.
Yes, you're exactly right. So if you don't have an annotation that says something along the lines of she wants her lover to remember her, then you should write that down. I'm going to say Rayana's exact words. So I like how I see Sergio adding that to his paper. So for the most part, I would say about 75% of us did really, really well on the multiple choice. Dorian, you're with me? So what's the key word in this poem, Juan? Yeah, and so the first trap that I saw you falling for, but a lot of you fixed it, was that you chose letter choice A in number 2. What word in number 2 in letter choice A would make that wrong? Sergio? No, in number 2 in letter choice A, there's no remember in there, so that can't make it wrong. What word would make it wrong? Forget and move on about their love, so he or she can move on with life. What is the poem about? Give me the word. Great. What's the opposite of remembering something? Great. So forget would make it wrong. The correct answer for 2 was D, and the correct answer for 3 was D. I saw a lot of you do really well in the multiple choice. That's why the only one that we're reviewing is question number 1. This is the only one that we really struggle with. Chloe, if we still continue to struggle, you're going to come in and help us because you did very well on this one. So if you were listening carefully to Sergio, he said that the opposite of remembering something is what? What's the opposite of... let's not call out. It's not a circus. Vivian? What's the opposite of remembering something? Yes, exactly right. So this question is asking me for what? Where what occurs in the poem? James?
Remembrance.
Loud?
Remembrance.
Nope, read the question out loud. Track your paper, not James, please.
The change in our message.
Great, so we're looking for the change. So if this entire poem, again, remind me, is about doing what, Roy?
Remember?
Then we're looking for a point in the poem when what is not happening. Roy? Jeremiah, help? Yeah, which means what? We're looking for a time in the poem when the person is forgetting about her lover, okay? So can you find me lines where she actually forgets about her lover? Go back and reread just like I see Dorian doing, Jeremiah doing. Thank you, Douglas. All right, so artists, give me the line number.
Line number 14.
Great, that's the first one, or I think it's actually 13. That's the first one, and then give me the second one where it's mentioned. AZ. 11, 10 and 11, I would say. Right here. So can you put a star next to both of these? Why does she want her lover to remember her? Why does she want her lover to remember her? Track Ashanti at the back of the room, please. Nice tracking. You with us, James? Loud? Great. Can you find a line that proves what you just said?
You tell me of our future that you planned.
Why'd you choose that one?
Because it's saying that he or she planned a future.
Keep tracking her, please.
He planned a future for her and he wanted them to be together.
Great. So she seems to have a positive or a negative feeling about this love.
Positive.
Great. So that means if we're looking for the opposite, a change in the poem, do we want a positive or a negative line? Yes, so we want a negative line. Which one of these lines is more negative? Better by far, you should forget and smile, or yet if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. Which one of these has a negative connotation to it, a negative meaning to it?
I would say probably one because it's talking more about sad instead of smiling.
Yes, so what word did artists just pick out of here that makes it wrong, that the line we shouldn't be using, or the word why we shouldn't use this line? Jasmine?
He says sadness.
Nope, he said something else. Jeremiah? What word did he mention that had a positive connotation to it? Loud? Great, so we're going to eliminate this line just because it's too positive and we're looking for a change in the poem. So let's write down the line that Chloe, you originally had, or just circle these. Yet if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. Nice job, artists. Sergio, that's a waste of your time. Take this, put it in your do now section of your binder right now, and then put your chapter questions in front of you and today's reading. Did you get it or no? Okay. Okay, so today we're going to be reading the next part of 12 Angry Men. And what's the skill that we're going to be focusing on? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? You sure? Okay, what's the skill that we're going to be focusing on? Chloe, can you put that away? As we're reading today. Look at the top of your chapter if you're not sure. So I have a hand from Destin. Sergio, you look good. Marilyn, you look good. Ladies at the back table, I'd love to see more of you. What skill are we focusing on today as we're reading? All right, Juan.
Point of view.
Great. What does point of view mean? Jeremiah. Great, but let's get a more specific definition. Marilyn. Even more specific.
The way the reader is supposed to story.
I think you were about to say it. The eyes. Go ahead, Destin.
The eyes through story.
Is told.
Oh,
Nice. The eyes through which the story is told. So, we have the point of view of many different jurors in 12 Angry Men. What point of view does Reginald Rose use when he's telling all these different jurors points of view? First, second, or third? DJ? Yes. How do you know what pronoun is used?
I.
Yes. Nice job. So we're going to begin with a little bit of a model identifying point of view, and we're going to look at what you read for homework from page 18. And this is the fourth juror. I need someone who has a really, really passionate voice to embody what the fourth juror is saying, because what the fourth juror is saying is very, very passionate. All right, Marilyn, take us there. Pause for a moment, though. I like how Chloe's eyes immediately go up here. As you are reading and listening, thank you, Jeremiah, for your eyes. Hint, hint, Douglas. As you're listening to the fourth juror's point of view, you want to be looking at diction. Remind me again what diction is. Jeremiah, your hand today is really great. It's nice to see. Track Eliza at the back of the room, please. Loud? You all right, Malaysia? You okay? Okay. Word choice. Great. And we're looking for word choice that helps us to identify the what. Douglas, stop looking at your nails. Thank you. Destin. The point of view. Exactly right. So anything that you think we need to circle, any diction we need to circle, Juan, you raise your hand and tell me. Go ahead, Marilyn, take us away. Take it away.
This part lesson is a product of filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're here to decide whether he's guilty or innocent of murder, not to go into reasons why he grew up this way. He was born in a slum. Slums are breeding grounds for criminals. I know it. So do you. It's no secret. Children from slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
Great. What's a menace? Jasmine? Track over here. What's a menace? Yeah, exactly right. And what's a slum?
A ghetto neighborhood.
Well, we don't want to say ghetto. It's offensive. A slum and ghetto carry a negative connotation. When someone's referring to a slum, what are they talking about?
A very poor neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly right. It's meant to be an offensive word. So let's just write down, just so we know what the words mean. All right, so what diction should I circle in here so I should identify, I can understand what the fourth juror's point of view is? First question, though, is who's the fourth juror talking about here? Douglas, who's he talking about?
He's talking about the kid, teenager.
And what's wrong with the kid? What's going on with him?
That he was born in the slum
But why do we care about this kid?
because he's in between life and death.
Yep, exactly right. So talking about the boy on trial. You writing this, Romel? Okay, so Destin, will you start us off? What diction do you think helps us to determine his point of view? I? April Fools, right? Except it's December. You want a moment to think? All right, Joshua, what diction helps us to determine his point of view? Can you say that louder? Great. Please circle slum, and then please circle menace. Give me other diction. Malaysia, you have something? Give me a yes or a no. I'm not psychic. Okay. James.
Criminal.
Yes, criminal. Great. Give me another piece of diction, please. AZ. Guilty. Great. Give me something else. Sergio.
Murder.
Murder. Give me something else. Artis.
Broken.
Yes. Nice job. Give me something else. Destin. Filthy. Great. We're missing a good one, too. DJ.
Breeding.
Yeah, breeding ground. Nice. Thank you. All right, so let's write down some of these words. Filthy. Nice job, Aaron. Broken. Breeding ground. Slum. Menace. And criminal. What's the fourth juror's point of view based on all of these pieces of diction that we just pulled out? Turn and tell your partner, please.
He's using loaded language.
That he's what?
He's using loaded language.
Yeah, oh my God. This, when you're on, you're on. Like, can you, but it's every other day with you. Can you be like this all the time? Like right now, you're totally headed towards a positive referral, but it's gotta be like this. Like sometimes you're so bright, but you gotta use it, okay? All right, great. All right, so what is his point of view? Track Jasmine, please. How does the fourth juror feel at this point in time? Roy, your eyes should be on Jasmine, please.
He feels as if the boy been broke down mentally and physically because of how he's been growing up for the past 16 years.
And does he therefore want to help him, or does he not care? I disagree with that. I think the eighth juror wants to help him. The fourth juror, is he talking positively about this boy?
Oh.
Okay, great. So let me hear more. What else is his point of view? Artist, you said something really key here. You tied it back to yesterday's lesson. What did you say?
I said that he was using loaded language to show that he was against him, and he was stating things to make him sound like a bad person so they could really sound.
Yes, exactly right. Joshua, please stay with us. So what's the other point of view that he's expressing in here? I need more. I heard loaded language. I heard that he has a negative view of him, but there's more to it. Track Eliza, please, and then Aaron will come to you. Nice tracking, Dorian. How does he feel about this boy?
That he thinks that he's guilty because of the place that he lives and then there's criminals there.
That's perfect. Aaron, is there anything you want to add to that? Really nice job, Eliza. You don't have to look so nervous. Huh?
I don't have anything to add to that.
All right, so can you say that louder so we can write that down, Eliza? That was very nicely said.
Well, that he lives in a filthy and broken neighborhood, that there's murderers and criminals that live there.
But you said something else about why that matters. Do you remember what you said? You said the boy, because this is where the boy comes from and lives, that's why he acts that way. That was really bright. So the boy lives in a poor, broken neighborhood. So that's why he acts the way he does. Joshua, please sit up. Okay, so you did a really nice job picking out diction, so now we're ready to move on to something hard. And the harder part of doing this is we're gonna put diction in your response rather than James just writing a whole long, lengthy quote, okay? So tell me, what words do you wanna pick out, or what pieces of diction do you wanna pick out? You all right, Chloe? You all right? Okay.
You want me to pick?
Yep, pick one.
Oh, criminal.
Okay, pick another one, please. Jeremiah. Great. Another one, Marilyn.
Filthy.
All right, and then one more. Yes.
Broken.
Okay, great. So I'm going to model for this for you, and then this model is what you're going to use, nice tracking, Wendy, for the rest of class. So please write with me. I would say something like, the fourth jurors, you're moving as fast as Rommel. Point of view. About the boy on trial. Is that Rose writes or Rose conveys the idea. What do I want you to do instead? Marilyn.
Do shorter versions and do
Yeah, but what do we call that? Rather than using a whole quote, I want you to use. Yes, that's exactly right. Jeremiah, very nice hand today. So we're going to begin reading together. I'm going to assign some roles to you, and then you're going to read on your own at the second half of the class. So let's just go in order. Think about it right now. Fourth juror has a really lengthy part. So does eighth juror. So if you want a big emotional monologue, that would help you. So first juror, anyone like that? Does everyone want fourth juror?
Foreman.
All right. Yes, foreman. All right, foreman. So now I'm going to assign DJ. Second juror, Aaron. Third, Joshua. Fourth, all right, I'm going to go Marilyn because she didn't read yesterday because she wasn't here. And then it's back to yours because you had a lengthy role yesterday. I'm just trying to be fair. Fifth. No, we only have 12 roles. Fifth juror, Jeremiah. Sixth juror. Do you want sixth? You want fifth and sixth? Hold on, let me break it up a little. Fifth, I'm gonna give to Destin. Seventh.
That's mine.
Wait, can you take this one?
Seventh juror. Seventh juror, Juan. Eighth juror. Okay, artist, because you're not yelling out loud, me. Ninth juror, Malaysia. 10th, AZ, you're in a good mood today. 11th juror, Ashanti. That's a Z in cursive. 12th juror, Ramel. Okay, great, and narrator. All right, James. Okay, great. Please pick up your play and go to the top of page 21 where it says 8th juror. Yes, thank you for waiting. Okay, as you read, you can underline in this play. This is yours to take home with you as well. Yes. Okay, great. Go ahead.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get in here and look at it. I'd like to see it again. Mr.
Sign out.
Foreman.
He turns to the foreman.
Oh, you have one.
Mr. Foreman.
The foreman rises and crosses to the door.
We all know what it looks like.
The foreman knocks on the door. The guard unlocks the door and enters. The foreman whispers to him. The guard nods and exits, locking the door. Third juror.
Joshua. What are we gonna get out of?
Just keep reading.
On my tape.
It doesn't say third juror. It's still part of the courtroom.
Oh. Where are we gonna get on the scene?
Fifth juror.
Destin.
Fourth juror.
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
To the eighth juror.
The knife and the way it was brought. It's pretty strong evidence, don't you think so?
Eighth juror.
Can you stop doing that? Nope. Sit up. All the way. I said sit up all the way, please.
I do.
Good. Now we're supposed to take these facts out one at a time. 1. The boy admitted going out of the house at 8 o'clock on the night of the murder after being punched several times by his father.
He didn't say punched. He said hit. There's a difference between slap and punch.
I like the way you're reading. You're reading with emphasis on good words. Keep doing that.
After being hit several times by his father, 2. The boy went directly to a neighborhood junk shop where he bought a, what do you call those things?
Push together.
A switchblade.
Thank you. Fourth juror, go ahead.
Thank you. 3. This wasn't what you call an ordinary knife. It was very unusual carved knife. 4. The storekeeper who sold it to him identified the knife in the court and said it was the only one of its kind he had ever had in stock. 5. At about 8:45, the man The boy ran into 3 friends of his in front of a diner. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
Narrator.
Oh, to the 8th juror,
You bet he is.
to the other.
Now listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay, so pause for a moment. There's something that the 4th juror tells us about the knife that makes it distinct. What makes the knife so distinct? What's different about this knife? Go back and reread just like I see Jeremiah doing if your hand isn't up. Douglas.
It's a one of a kind.
Great, so let's just make a note of that at the top of page 22. Knife is one of a kind. Why is that important that the knife is one of a kind, Douglas?
Because it showed that apparently it was the only one that he had in stock.
So if there's only one of that knife, then what is the jury thinking right now? If they're saying there's only one knife that looks like this, then what's going on, DJ?
I have a question. Do you understand what's in this?
Yeah, you can write on this. But back to Douglas. If there's only one knife and the boy had that one knife, what does that mean? Then at this point, we're thinking he might have killed his dad. You're exactly right. Go ahead and keep reading, 4th juror. You have a very long monologue.
The boy talked with his friends for about an hour, leaving them at 9:45. During this time, they saw the switch knife, 6. Each of them identified the death weapon in court as the same knife, 7. The boy arrived home at about 10 o'clock. Now this is where the story is offered
Can we
by
read
the
along?
boy, and the state begins to diverge slightly. He claims that he had stayed home until 11:30 and then went out of those all-night movies. He returned home at about 3:15 in the morning to find his father dead and himself arrested. Now, what happened to the switch knife? This is the charming and imaginative little fable the boy invented.
Fable?
Fable the boy invented. He claims the knife fell through a hole in his pocket sometime between 11:30 and 3:15 while he was on his trip to the movies, and he never saw it again. Now this is a tale, gentlemen. I think it's quite clear that the boy never went to the movies that night. No one in the house saw him go out at 11:30. No one at the theater identified him. He couldn't even remember the names of the pictures he saw. What exactly happened is this. The boy stayed at home, had another fight with his father, stabbed him to death with the knife at 10 minutes after 12, and fled the house. He even remembered to wipe the knife clean of fingerprints.
The guard unlocks the door and enters carrying the curiously designed knife with a tag hanging from it.
Okay, so just pause for one moment. I don't mean to cut you off. Just next time you'll start at the 4th juror. So at this point, what does the boy say happened with the knife? What's the story that he's creating? Joshua, please place your eyes on him, Rihanna.
The knife fell from a pocket from his pants.
Yeah, exactly right. So let's just make a note of that. Knife, you said fell from a pocket in his pants? So what is the 4th juror's point of view about this tale, or this, about what this boy is telling? Marilyn?
He thinks what the boy is saying is a lie.
What diction tells you that the 4th juror feels this way? He could have used specific words, but he uses very, very specific words to tell us how he feels about this, what the boy is saying. Jasmine? Great. Please circle the word fable. Excellent job, Jasmine. Any other diction that tells us that 4th juror thinks this is a big, fat lie? Romel? I want you to focus on what Jasmine's doing. So he could have just said account, but he says fable. This is an interesting word choice, so let's keep with this pattern.
Imaginative.
Yes, imaginative. And then what other word in there is related to fable? Juan?
Tale?
Yes, exactly right. Can you circle the word tale as well? Are you with us, Aaron? Why am I missing it? Where is it? Oh, thank you. Great. Aaron, please circle these 3 words. You doing that? What's the diction that we identified to help us understand how the 4th juror feels? Give me one piece of diction that we wrote down. Douglas? It was my fault. A first question. Look at the ones that are circled on your page. What do you have?
He thinks that boys just making up fables.
Great, so we have fable. Give me another piece of diction, please. Chloe.
Tale.
Great, and give me the final one, DJ.
Imaginative.
Great. So right now, you're gonna try answering question number 1. What is the fourth juror's point of view? How should I start off my sentence? Sergio.
The fourth juror's point of view is
About what?
about the boy's knife.
Great, perfect, nice job. The fourth juror's point of view, can you put your head up, please? About the boy's knife. When you write, what are you going to put into your answer? What should I see? Dorian, what should I see in your answer? What do we call that though? How will I know that it's the author's words? What will you put around it? Rihanna? Yeah, exactly right. You don't have to use all of these. It's totally up to you. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write your response. Aaron, I love that you already started. That makes me very happy. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. So then this is a nice opening sentence. Then I would just say like, juror 4 feels, and then are you going to use some of those words in quotation marks? Can you look at me? I feel like you're communicating with me through head nods. Are you on a no talking strike? Is everything okay? Do you need a tissue? Okay, I'll bring one. Proofread. Don't just drop that pen. It's red for a reason.
What's called? It's like, you know how you put rows at the end? Like, what can I put for a number?
The paragraph going to put the page number? Mm-hmm. Does he think the story is real or fake?
Fake.
Great. So you could use this as your diction in quotation marks. The boy's knife story is, and then you would say imaginative in quotation marks. Does that help you? Okay, good. Artist, are you done? Let me see what you got. Nice. You just don't need to capitalize this, and this goes on the outside. Nice work today, though. Makes me very happy. Oh, no, you're on this one. Hold on. So I'm just going to switch it. No, you don't have to worry about it. This will be 2, and then this will be 1. That way you don't have to rewrite it. Great. Please place your eyes up on the overhead so I can show you a good example of student work. If it ever does that, do you mind just turning it off for me? All right. So let's take a look at artists. The fourth juror's point of view about the boy's knife is that he is telling imaginative fables, rows 18, when the boy told his story in court. What's artist's diction right here? What does he use? Romel?
Imaginative fable.
Yeah, very nice job. All right, let's move on. Let's keep reading. Go ahead, narrator. You need 30 seconds? Okay. Whenever you're ready, pick up.
Oh,
6.
the fourth juror goes to the guard and takes the knife from him. The guard exits. The guard exits, locks the door.
Everyone connected with the case identifies the knife. Now, are you trying to tell me that it really fell through a hole in the boy's pocket and that someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be a victim?
No. Are you saying that it's possible that the boy lost the knife and that someone else stabbed his father with a familiar knife? It is possible.
The fourth juror. Go ahead, James.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The fourth juror flips open the knife and jams it into the table.
Take a look at the knife. I've never seen one like it. Neither had the storekeeper who sold it to the boy. Are you asking us to accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not asking anyone to accept it. I'm just saying that it's possible.
Shouting.
And I'm saying it's not possible.
The 8th juror stands for a moment in silence. Then he reaches into his pocket and swiftly withdraws a knife. He holds it in front of his face and flicks open the blade. Then he leans forward and sticks the knife into the table alongside the other knife. They are exactly alike. There is a burst of sound in the room. The 8th juror stands back from the table watching.
Look at it. It's the same knife.
What is this?
Well, where'd that come from?
How do you like that? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, what's going on here? Who do you think you are?
Quiet. Let's be quiet. Where did you get that knife?
We're skipping over a few narrator parts. Just make sure you know the italicized to pause for the narrator. Go ahead.
Quiet. Let's be quiet.
You're too busy being upset that you don't even know where we are. Go ahead.
Where did you get that knife?
I was walking for a couple of hours last night, just thinking. I walked through the boys' neighborhood.
You know where we are?
The knife comes from a little pawn shop 3 blocks from his house. It costs $6.
It's against the law to buy or sell switchblade knives.
That's right. I broke the law.
Listen, you pulled a real big trick here. Now supposing you tell me what you proved. Maybe there are 10 knives like that. So what?
Maybe there are.
So what does that mean? It's the same kind of knife. So what's that? The discovery of the age of something?
It would still be an incredible coincidence for another person to have stabbed the father at the same time.
Okay, don't turn the page just yet. Can someone explain to me what the 8th juror did? What did he do? Rayana?
The 8th juror, he got a knife that was familiar to the same knife that they had, that they came in, and that was not.
So this is important though. Was it similar or was it exactly the same knife?
It was the same knife.
Why is that so important that the 8th juror could go to a store and buy a knife that looks exactly like the murder weapon? Why do we care about that? Romel.
Because it could prove that the boy didn't actually stab his father.
Why does that prove that the boy didn't stab his father? Aaron, stay with us. Malaysia? Say that really, really loud. That's so important. Hold it for 1 second. Can we write that down and then you can ask your question? So now we know. We can write this at the bottom of page. Where are you? 23. Let's write it. There's more than one knife. Let me write it and then I'll take your question, okay? One knife that looks like murder weapon. Could have been someone else. All right, what's your question?
It says that, remember on page 22, it said that was the only knife, because that was the only one he had in stock. How come there are more liars like that? So was the dude lying on the stand?
That's what we have to decide. Was he lying on the stand or was it just not for sale at his store? You have to decide that yourself. Go ahead and then
Oh, me? Okay, I thought it was illegal. I think he lied because it was illegal to do that.
That could be an interesting motive. I agree with that. Yeah.
He said that it was the only one in stock, but the juror walked out from a different store.
But I still, like, when I read it, I had the same reaction as you. I was like, is this guy lying on the stand because they want the boy to, like, I wasn't 100% believing it. Yeah?
Okay, so what happened if this jury
Finds him guilty? You should know this. So what happens to the boy if he's found guilty? Darnay, stay with us. Sergio? Yes, exactly right. He gets executed. All right, so please turn to the next page. Okay, listen carefully to the directions that I'm going to give you right now. So I need all of your eyes up here. Joshua, are you with me? Okay, so you're going to continue reading on your own. You're going to read pages 24, 25, 26, and 27. So you should be able to get to 27. As you're reading, you're going to answer questions 2, 3, and 4 on your own. Are there any questions about the task that I'm giving you right now? Yes or no? Aaron, you good? Yes. Okay, great. If I call your name, I need you to go to that table over there. If you're at that table and your name isn't called, Dorian, do you mind giving your seat up to Eliza just so she doesn't have to walk that far? Okay, or Marilyn, either one. So please listen carefully to your name. Sergio, please move over there. Romel, please move over there. Roy, please move over there. And Douglas, please move over there. If your name was not called, then you're independently working on your own. You can go over there if you want. That's fine with me. 0. Okay, so question number 2. Can you look there right now just really quickly? Juan, stay with me, please. It says, what is the 8th juror's point of view about the knife? When you answer this, I would like just 1 to 2 pieces of diction. Can you write that down? For question number 4, you do not need to use evidence. You don't have to worry about that. Are there any other questions about these before we move on? Okay, I'm going to give you 9 minutes to get to the end of the play. Yes. Okay. Yeah, of course, always. I'm just trying to give you a minimum. 27. Can you get this out of the way just so I can get through?
Isn't it on page 23?
Hmm?
The answer for this question?
Yep. You could, though, keep reading and get more information, or you could use another one. You don't need to be aggressive about it. Relax, okay? All right, go to the top of page 24, please. 1 to 2 pieces of diction.
Diction?
Yep.
Dictionary?
Nope. 24.
Here.
All right. Okay. So here's how I think we should do it. Why don't you be 3rd, 7th, okay, 9th. I'm going to be narrator, and then you're going to be 10th and 11th. Okay? Yep. All right. Cool. Go ahead. 3rd juror, start us off.
That's right, he's right.
The odds are 1,000,000 to 1.
It's possible.
We don't have a 4th? Okay. But not very probable. Listen, take seats. There's no point in milling around here. They begin to move back to their seats. The 8th juror stands watching.
It's interesting that he found a knife exactly like the one the boy bought. What's interesting? You think it proved anything? Well, no. I just...
Wendy, take your hood off, please.
Interesting. He points at the acre. Listen, how comes the kid bought the knife to begin with? Well, he claims that... I know, he claims he bought it as a present for a friend of his. He was going to give it to him the next day because he busted the other kid's knife dropping it on the pavement. That's what he said?
You're doing a really good job with the tone you read with.
Oh, baloney. The friend testified that the boy did break his knife.
And how long before the killing? 3 weeks, right? So how come our noble lad bought his knife 1.5 hour after his father smacked him, and 3.5 hours before they found it shoved up here in the father's chest?
Chloe, you good?
Well, he was going to give the knife to his friend. He just wanted to use it for a minute.
There's scattered laughter. To the 3rd juror.
Let me ask you this. It's one of the questions I wanted to ask in court. If the boy bought the knife to use it on his father, how come he showed what was going to be the murder weapon to 3 friends? Or is just a...
Juan, get on task.
For the killing? Listen, all of this is just talk. The boy lied, and you know it.
DJ,
You
sit up.
may have lied to the 10th juror. Do you think he lied?
Okay, you're getting a little crazy.
Oh, that's a stupid question. Sure, he lied.
To the 1st juror. Do you? Oh, do you know my answer? He lied.
To the 5th juror.
Do you think he lied?
I'm not sure. He breaks off and looks nervously around. Leaping into the breach.
You're not sure about what? Now wait 1 second.
To the 8th juror.
What are you, the kid lawyer or something? Who do you think you are start cross-examining us? Isn't that what's supposed to happen in the drawing room?
Okay, so look up here for a second, please. So at this point in the text, how are the other jurors starting to feel about this story about the knife? Are they siding with the 10th juror who thinks that it's a big fat lie, or are they beginning to side with the 8th juror? 10th juror, what do you think?
A lie.
They're thinking the knife story is a lie?
No. Wait, which?
Are they siding with the 10th juror who thinks it's a lie, or are they beginning to side with the 8th juror who does not think it's a lie?
I think they're with the 8th juror.
Okay, why do you think that? Can you go to the top of page 23 to 25?
When they said
Or to page 24. I'm sorry, I meant to say the top of page 24. Can you go there right now? There's something in... Nope, there's a word in there. Let's look at diction that tells us that they're starting to take the side of the 8th juror. So let's look up here.
It's interesting.
Milling?
Okay, so you said the word, it's interesting. Great. Can you circle that in your books right now? He said it's interesting. Sorry.
What's interesting?
Okay, and so what do the jurors think is interesting? DJ, and a second time I say your name, then I'm going to get really upset.
What's interesting is that the killer brought the exact same knife as the kid.
Nope, they think something else is interesting.
That they found
The exact knife.
like the boy.
Yes, so what does this mean about the knife?
There's another.
There's another one, and if there's more than one knife, then what does that mean about the boy being the murder suspect? Douglas, hold on.
It means that he can't be the killer, or he might be.
He might be. We don't know yet. So can you go to question number 3 right now? Go to question 3, please. Which answer choice best explains the significance of the quotes below? On page 24, the second juror says it's interesting that he'd find a knife exactly like the one the boy bought. On page 25, the 5th juror says, I'm not sure. What do these quotes tell us? A, the jurors are interested in the knife, read along with me, and the role it plays in the trial. B, some of the jurors are beginning to change their opinions. C, the jurors need to see the exact knife the boy bought. D, juror 5 is changing his opinion, or E, juror 2 is changing his opinion. Circle what you think it is on your paper right now. Don't say anything. Just circle it. That's a weird noise. Kind of sounds like a pig. Let's not do that. This is too many boys in a group. Stop, you're getting weird.
This is not a barn.
This is not a barn. Okay, so when I look at, who has it? Yeah, so Roy, you're in the right place. Roy chose B. You have it too, I'm sorry. Some of the jurors are beginning to change their opinions. Can you go back up to the evidence? What evidence up here tells us that the jurors are beginning to think that juror 10 might be wrong? There's a phrase in there. What phrase is it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly right. Underline that. I'm not sure. Right here. All right. So let's finish reading the book, the remaining pages right now.
Alright, we're going. I don't know where we are. Oh, it wasn't supposed to happen in a journal. Oh no, there's no. Oh no, in the 3rd journal. Listen, there are still 11 of us.
So right here in the middle, it says 3rd juror, listen, there are still 11 of us. Good. You with us? Listen. You know where we are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Listen, there are still 11 of us who here who think she's guilty.
Yeah, what do you think you're gonna accomplish? You're not gonna change anybody's mind. So if you want to be stubborn and hang this jury, go ahead. The kid will be tried again and found guilty, sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you about it? We can be here all night.
It's only one night. A boy may die.
Brother, anybody got a deck of cards?
To the foreman.
I don't think he ought to make a joke about it.
What do you want me to do?
Listen, I don't see what all of. Yeah.
You're okay. Go ahead.
Just
I don't see what all this stuff about the knife.
I don't see what all this stuff about the knife has to do with anything. Somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need? I got 3
Garages.
I got 3 garages.
Juan.
That the boy is innocent?
Yes, exactly right. Put your exit slip in front of you right now. So read out loud the prompt for me, please, Joshua. Oh, well, that's a good test for me. Read out loud the prompt for me. Did I not give one to someone? Okay, good. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
explain how the point of view is different.
Great. Please circle the word evolves. What does it mean when something evolves? Artists.
Evolve means for something to change.
Great. Please write the word change above it. You're going to write a constructor response, but rather than saying Rose writes, I'm up here, Roy. Rose writes, what are you going to use instead that we've been using this entire class? Wendy? Yes, exactly right. So you need to embed or put in your example 2 pieces of diction. Please write that down. And what should these 2 pieces of diction show me as you're writing? What should they show me? Malaysia? You want help?
How each juror changes their.
Not each, but how? Should show the change in the jurors. So I just want to be very, very clear on this. Should I read an exit slip today that says Rose writes and then has an entire sentence? Yes or no, everyone?
No.
What should I see instead? Chloe? Yes, exactly right. Nice job. If you want to do more than 2 pieces of diction, you're more than welcome to. I'll give you 6 minutes to write this constructor response. Can you place your eyes up here though, Destin? This is really, really important to me. So I would be, Roy, really happy if I read an exit slip. Stop writing just for a moment. I read an exit slip that had a lot of cross-outs on it. Why would I be really happy to see that? What would that show me that you did? Marilyn? No, that you went back and corrected your paper. A lot of you do this. You do, boom, I'm writing my exit slip, and then a pen drop. Like, stop doing the pen drop. Please go back, reread your work, and fix it. Okay, your 6 minutes starts now. Go ahead and get started. Erin, you okay? Don't be annoying. All right, I'm trapped back here. Take a hat. What are you wearing a hat for? You lost your mind? All right. So I'm gonna help you get started. So how would I restate this prompt? Yep. Can you sit up?
The change in the juror's point of view.
So I would do it a little differently. So let's all write this. The jurors points, you can cross out, of view is what? What's beginning to happen with them? Romel? So I'm going to add is beginning to change. Now I need to give a little bit of context. What's happened in the scene that lets me know that it's beginning to change? Great. So I might say something like, at this point in the play, and then I'm going to give a little summary of the vote that was taken. And remind me, who's the juror that changed his mind? 9. Yep, juror 9. So I'm not going to tell you how to write the context. You're going to try that on your own, okay? You can use this first sentence starter, though. Stop being weird. Okay, where should I look for evidence?
Page
22 and 27.
26.
Okay, so you can each find a piece of evidence. Just make sure you show it to me before you begin writing. Okay? So if you want a little bit of a sentence starter on how to start with evidence, you could do something like, you could do Rose writes, or you could say, and then just describe to me. Give me a word. Okay? You can do that. I'm just giving you another sentence starter. So show me the evidence you're going to use. At no point did I ask anyone in this room to speak. I'll be over there in a moment. Give me 1 second, though. So what evidence are you going to use? Can I give you a clue? So I would look right here. Artist, if you have a question, I'll be there. Yep, perfect. Not guilty. I'm sorry, but this is just a disruption at this point. Stop. Yep. Oh, I thought you meant for the evidence. So you need to begin writing. You could say, at this point in the play, they're taking a vote. What do they end up voting? Go ahead. What do they end up voting? Tell me. Who votes not guilty?
Nine.
Yeah, you need to say that. Great. Now explain what that means. So you could say something like Rose conveys the idea that. So what I would do is I would say at this point in the play, they've just taken a vote, right? Who voted not guilty?
Juror 9.
Great, you need to write that down, but you need to move quickly.
Wait, it already says in this point.
Yeah, so let's go. They've taken a vote, and juror number 9 votes not guilty. Come on, let's do this. Yes. Mm-hmm. Come on, let's go. The 9th. Yes, but he ends up voting guilty. It's the 9th one who does it. It's kind of like a fake out. You think the 5th juror is going to vote not guilty, and then the 9th juror does it. At least 2. Are you done? Did you proofread and edit? Okay, you can take out a book and read. Yep. I have no idea what you're doing. It's like, put both feet under, finish this, come on. And explain your evidence. You've been doing a really good job all class. Why now do you go crazy? Explain it to me. I'm gonna give you an extra minute. Aaron, do you mind hitting that? When you leave the room, just hand me your exit slip. So don't pack up your exit slip. That goes in the NU section of your binder. And thank you for stacking them every other. 16, 15, can you turn your voice off so I don't have to raise my voice? 12, seriously, can you hear me? Thank you. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, Romel, please get in a seat. 2, 1, and 0. Boys, you eat outside today. Girls, you eat inside today. If you were in Mount Holyoke or Lincoln, I believe, you eat in here. If you're in UCLA or Washington, you eat in there. Leave your binder on your desk. What do I need you to hand me when you leave? Exit ticket, that's exactly right. This side of the room, you may stand and leave. My reflections from the lesson are that after looking through my exit slip, I wish that I had checked for understanding before the exit slip on the structure of how to write a constructor response. The exit slip data revealed that there was more issues with the structural with the structure of how to write a constructor response than the actual content of what was in the constructor responses. So when I look through the results, a constructor response is scored on a scale of 0 to 2. A 2 means that you're proficient and you've passed. And there were 4 students in the class that were not proficient on the exit slip. Of the 4 students that were not proficient, 3 of them were because structurally they didn't know how to write a constructor response, meaning they ended with a piece of evidence rather than explaining that evidence. And that's sort of a no-no when you write a constructor response. You need a concluding, summarizing statement. And then there was 1 student whose answer content-wise was off. Otherwise, the entire class was on point in terms of the content in their constructor response. And the 1 student who was off in terms of the content of her response being just really off topic, that coincides with what I saw in the common assessment. She was the only student on the common assessment who the content in her actual common assessment was really, really off topic. I didn't see that with any of the other 8th graders. So my next step with the lesson is I need to do a review on the structure of a constructor response. And so we need to look at a model and break that down. And I think we need to specifically look at when I have evidence. I can't just end with a piece of evidence. I need to explain it. And then I think with this, since there's only 1 student in particular who was off content-wise, she's already in my small group, but I think that she needs differentiation within the small group, meaning maybe I release the small group halfway through and then I keep working with her. So for me, I think there are 2 things that I do with exit slip data. The first one is I immediately take it home and just quickly look through it. And I often separate it into 2 piles. Like you see them actually on my desk right now. And that's just proficient and not proficient. And when I do that really quickly, it just gives me in the moment data so that the next day when I come in, those same students aren't making the same error again. So even if I don't have time to thoroughly grade every single exit slip, I can look through them really quickly, make 2 piles, and then make an immediate change tomorrow. I do make an effort to grade a minimum of 2 to 3 exit slips a week, but it's not feasible to grade all 5 of them every day of the week. The second thing is, I get really frustrated with myself as a teacher when I notice a trend. Like I saw that this young woman did poorly on her exit slip and the common assessment then happened later, and I let her make that same error. And I think that if I had in the same way remediated for those other students and I had addressed her more quickly, she wouldn't have made that same error on her common assessment. That's it.